Hey there. I'm talking today, real quick, just about our new accountability check-in program. And this is a program, kind of an idea I've had for a long time, but really it's important during a typical school year, but much more so now during this kind of new environment of virtual or hybrid learning. And so we've come up with a program that I'm going to talk to you about. And this, we obviously have some free workshops and paid workshops. We've got ongoing coaching and discussion and accountability groups where we're getting on live twice a week with students. And we'll talk about that in a minute, or you can check the links down below for information. This is kind of meant as a complement to those, and really just there's not any actual live coaching going on, but what it is a chance to help you as parents to have discussions with your students around accountability and creating good habits and building consistency and fostering independence and ownership. So on your part, what we're going to be looking for, and I'm going to go ahead and share my screen here to show you a little bit about what we're talking about with these accountability check-ins. So, and then I'll talk about what we'd like from you as parents. So what we're doing here is we're going to ask students to log their progress towards their goals, and they will create those goals with some direction from us. So we'll either have a video tutorial, some PDF materials to give them a sample to get started, and we want them each creating kind of a daily routine, very specific to what it's going to take to be successful. And we'll show you a couple examples in a sec. The parents then, what we're intending to do is to email you a report, ideally every week, kind of summarizing, did your student check in? Did they keep up on their habit tracker or their own personal checklist or log? If not, why? And they're going to answer these questions in the survey. And so we will give you kind of that feedback as to, hey, they checked in with us, and this is what they're reporting around their success with following through on these habits and tasks that they've committed to in order to be successful. So we will guide them through email, providing downloads, tools, images, examples, and then asking them to keep a log and either send us a Google, well, we're going to ask them to send us a Google form no matter what each day, or they can report the next day for 2 days if they miss one, but ideally they're completing a log for each day of the week. And they're going to let us know how they did. What we're asking from you is, of course, what's going to help them the most with our follow-through, seeing as how the majority of these students are still under the age of 18. We're talking about junior high and high school students primarily, although we work with college students on this as well. But they're going to need that accountability. We're still building habits. We're needing them to learn those lessons from their, I won't say failures, but from challenges or obstacles or places where they might stumble. So talk as a family, we ask you to discuss what does that accountability need to look like. Most of our students tell us after working with us that it needs to be some kind of a removal of privileges and or an earning of privileges based on their consistency with keeping up on following through with their checklist or the items that they think are going to make them successful. And so that can look any which way. You can reward that daily, you can reward that weekly, or punish, I should say. Talk with your student and talk together to decide what's going to work best for your family. And what our goal is that you get to step out and pull back. They get to create their own plans, problem solve, troubleshoot. We'll be there along the way if they need it. We have tons of ways that we can support them, and we'll be sending them via email ideas and check-ins. And then we would want you to, all we would want you to do is at the end of the week, when we send you that report, sit down and have a conversation. And that allows you the opportunity to then visit where those challenges might have arisen and what it might take, you know, at home accountability-wise and or support-wise to get them in the right moving in the right direction. So we'll send that summary at the end of the week, ideally weekly, and you can access and use that information to have those conversations. What we love is that this is really the way to foster independence and ownership. We've been at this for almost 20 years. They need to be able to learn to build skills and habits on their own. They need to learn to self-regulate. They need to learn to follow through and to kind of create that positive behavior change. And I will tell you, I'm sure you know, it's a journey. This is not overnight. So this is why I think having these accountability check-ins are going to be a fantastic way to kind of turn the reins over to them, let them develop it and work towards it, but then each week have that conversation around how it went. Kind of when you're asking them to report how their grades were going or how their week was in general, this will give you some more concrete conversation points or talking points for your conversation. So we want you to set the bar high, but also to help them to learn to do all of this and to navigate and manage for themselves. So creating these checklists or kind of daily habit trackers are a really excellent way for them to actually, go to a couple of examples, learn what it's going to take to be successful, and they can modify these as they go. So we will provide them with some examples such as this one, how to create your own daily routine, the things that you need to do to be successful, from the basics like checking in for your online attendance to, you know, getting set up, opening your materials, to things that are more specific, like exactly what it's going to take in an individual class to get the assignment and the work done, to clarify or ask for help, to make sure that you are fully prepared or have turned in the work. So we're going to get very specific when we send them these examples, and then they can create them and make them on their own for their own personal situation or scenario. And we also talk to or encourage them to create kind of a weekend regroup at the same time. So we want them doing, Monday through Thursday, something on a regular basis, and then each weekend doing kind of a full regroup. So we will have some videos and materials and examples to send so they can create their own plans. And that's what they're going to be tracking. Did I actually do all of these things? How did it go? Where did I struggle? Some students are going to prefer to do it in more of a habit tracker format. So what we do sometimes is we can rope academic and personal tasks and items in. We have kids put chores and home responsibilities on here. We like for them to then have some way to organize it and then just check it off as they go. So I give them the freedom to choose. Do they prefer more of a checklist, or do they prefer something that's a little bit more habit tracker oriented? And we can put check boxes in here and they can check them off and kind of track how they're doing. And that allows them then that opportunity to kind of become more self-aware so they can really see very concretely how it is they are progressing and what it is that they might be kind of dropping the ball on or where they're really excelling. And so we're going to ask them to complete a form, and that will be daily. And that's just basically going to be, give us your name, when are you reporting for, did you complete your checklist or your habit tracker, how many of the tasks did you accomplish, if you didn't, why did they not get done, talk about something that went well today briefly. That is not a required question. We're going to encourage it. Some of the basics up top are going to be required. And then is there anything that they're frustrated with or that they need help with? That's going to be really important to talk about so they have a chance to kind of type that in, and then we can keep tabs on it, or we can encourage them to reach out to you or to their teachers, or to, try to solve that problem on their own or with some of the tools and resources that we're providing. And then anything else that they'd like us to know. So we're hoping that's going to at least encourage them to be more accountable to themselves, be more accountable to you, be more self-aware, and start to really learn to self-manage and become successful and independent. So hopefully that helps, just to give you an idea. It's going to be a pretty cool program. Like I said, there's not going to be any live Zoom calls for this. It's really just going to be a one-time fee, and you'll register, and then we're going to run that for the course of however many weeks. I'm still deciding. So click the links to stay up to speed and sign up for our newsletter, because that's where we'll be announcing all of the details. But the idea behind this accountability program is really to try to foster truly that independence and ownership, so that parents don't feel like they need to be micromanaging, but they also know that their student has support and guidance. And best of all, you've got that touch point at the end of the week and that conversation starter to really discuss how things are going, and then do the problem solving and the conversations at home, because we know you're all busy. This might just give you kind of a jumping off point so that you're not consistently each day feeling as though you have to monitor and check in. So we think it's going to work out fabulously. Definitely hope that you sign up. If you have questions, please let us know. We're pretty easy to find. Follow any of the links here, and we will get back to you. Thanks so much.